pushing eastbound by about 35 to 40 miles per hour. We're looking at the heart of this red color is where we've got that 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gust threat that's still pushing eastbound right now, coming into Carroll County here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and track this together. I'm going to go ahead and pull up kind of a wide shot really quick just across all of 5 country. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You see it moving there. All right, now let's go ahead and put some motion on it. And I'm going to hit there. There we are. Storm's moving east. A couple more cells back towards Oklahoma. One update, though, for you is that the Severe Thunderstorm Warning Watch, or the Severe Thunderstorm Watch, has been canceled from the National Weather Service. If we get storms, they're going to be rogue, kind of like this one. This one went rogue for us. If we zoom in a little bit closer, let's take a look at the winds. And let's take a look at some hail. So right you're looking at right now is the leading edge of the green. Shows you the really big wind gusts coming right over Prairie Creek. You got the Prairie Creek Marina. You got Highway the 12 Bridge. We've got wind coming over for you guys. This is headed right towards the Lost Bridge area, Rocky Branch. Here's War Eagle, the Horseshoe Bend area, also getting some nasty winds too. The winds stretch up north to Highway 62 from Avoca right into Garfield, and then you get to Gateway right next to the state line with Missouri. We've got that also included in this warning. Big pocket of lightning too. Let's take a look at the hail. So far, hail has not been a big factor today, and it's still really not a big factor. There's just a lot of water coming down, so you have hailstones that are falling. There's so much water hitting those hailstones too. Sometimes they can freeze and make your hailstone larger, but that's only if there's a little bit of rain. If there's a lot of rain, it actually starts to melt. It's actually kind of like putting an ice cube into a bucket of water. Eventually the ice cube will just fall apart and melt. Same story here. So maybe a little bit of hail stretching across the lake. Now with the radar off, you can see the lake a little bit better. So this wind is coming right over Rocky Branch and most of those marinas there. Lost Bridge, Sailboat Cove, northbound into Avoca, Garfield, we're getting it too. I'm going to switch back to radar, looping it over the past 15 minutes. This storm is already starting to wind down a little bit over Prairie Creek and Avoca, but this thing is hauling right towards Eureka Springs. You know, the big Clifty area, there's some waterfall, great waterfalls along Beaver Lake there. Heavy wind, strong winds, gusty winds coming in for us. A lot of lightning. It is loud, you guys, over Beaver Lake right now. So whole Beaver Lake area, this storm is sitting over the entirety of the lake. There's Beaver, Arkansas, there where you kind of start connecting Table Rock with Beaver Lake. We've got some strong storms coming in at us. We're also included in that warning. Eureka Springs, we're next. Let's take a closer look just at the wind perspective. And I'm going to loop this over the past 15 minutes. So that wind potential is just coming right through Prairie Creek. So we're getting a lot of rain and some generally gusty winds. But it's this part of the storm that has the biggest gust. And that is moving by about, let's see, 35 miles per hour. So if we time that, let's push that out. You got War Eagle, 12:17. What time is it right now? 12. I got 12:11 on my computer. There's Clifty. It's also a big Clifty area. 12:31. Eureka Springs, about 12:30. So here in just about less than 20 minutes or so, Eureka Springs coming in at us. Berryville, add another 15. So 35 minutes or so, give or take, Berryville. So this storm headed from Benton County into Carroll County, but it's also skimming northern Washington County too. There's the past 30 minutes. You live back in Bentonville, Bella Vista, Gravette, Decatur, Siloam Springs, Heifel area, if you live anywhere around X&A, we're wrapping things up. Storm is now leaving Bentonville. You got Rogers. Rogers downtown is about here. Rogers is just so large in its aerial capacity. You got the thing right here. This is kind of more towards Highway 264 and Pleasant Grove Road exit, also included in Rogers. That storm is now leaving us as well. So if you're anywhere near the Walmart AMP, you got the Pleasant Grove Road exit. You head south towards even Lowell, Bethel Heights. We're wrapping things up. Right there at the exit with Walton and Walnut, lighter rain now. The heaviest rain is over downtown and pushing right over the lake. So once again, this is Prairie Creek Marina, Rocky Branch. You're talking Horseshoe Bend, Lost Bridge, Sailboat Cove, where we're getting it pretty good. We're getting it pretty good tonight with that wind. Also a lot of lightning with this storm. Boy, this one is loud. I want to show you what it looks like outside. I may have to move some of these cameras offhand here in a second. I'm getting, oh, there it pops up. I'll get that just in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and push, setting a push alert out with this live stream. We're on all platforms, including TV right now. Watching this windstorm push right over Beaver Lake. Boy, this waking a lot of folks up who live around the water. All right, so now I'm gonna switch. I'm pulling up a new browser. I wanna move some more cameras and show you what it looks like outside right now. This is Springdale, but I'm gonna push it east. There you go. All right, so now you're looking more towards Beaver Lake. Big time storm clouds out there. A lot of lightning in this cell. We're 20 miles as the crow flies from the heart of this storm here in this location from the Holiday Inn, right there at sunset. But boy, it's an active sky there across Springdale. Here to the side, I'm gonna see if I can pull up Bentonville's. We may be able to swing that around. We had it pointing west when the storm was coming in. Let's see if we can move that around. I'm gonna keep Springdale up until I got this Bentonville camera in place. But once again, gusty winds pushing right over Beaver Lake from the dam to Rocky Branch, Horseshoe Bend Marina, Lost Bridge. We're all getting it. Okay, I think I got it ready. That's what it looks like outside in Bentonville now. So now you're looking just south of the Walmart home office. Boy, is it right across Benton County. We're still kind of hearing it in Bentonville. And even Rogers, even though Rogers were slowly winding things down for us. But you're looking over towards Beaver Lake. It's nasty over by the water. Big time storm just pushing on through. Frequent lightning too. Boy, it is loud. Finally getting some good rainfall. I tell you what, we don't need the wind. That's the reason why the severe thunderstorm was activated. When this storm, you see that cloud to ground strike? Come on over there. Crazy shots there. So earlier when the storm was pushing through Bentonville, it was closer to about 45, 50 miles per hour. To get to severe limits, you need that 58 miles per hour. So let's say 60, you need close to 60. We finally now hit that threshold, we think, as pushing over Beaver Lake. While we're scanning a couple of things here on the side in order to see any kind of power outages, things like that. If you guys have any reports of any trees going down, let us know. We don't want the storm, but boy, do we need this rain. Gosh, we need this rain. We're getting some much needed water from Salem Springs to Bentonville, Rogers. This has mainly been a Benton County event. Boy, this is loud. I wish we could have some audio with some of these. Wouldn't that be crazy? See that strike, that was a cloud to ground too. This is what it looks like outside in Springdale. So you see a little bit more perspective from this shot because we're farther away. In Bentonville, we're still getting some of that rain because we're on the tail end of the storm. Here in Springdale, we've got some downpours around us, but you get a clear shot there of that storm over Beaver Lake. But we'll monitor power outages. If you guys have any photos throughout the night of trees down, any kind of reports like that will help out. In fact, let me check with the National Weather Service off screen for a second. See if sometimes emergency managers report just directly to National Weather Service. Let's see. Looks like the Bentonville airport picked up some pretty good gusts as it was pushing on through. It's KVBT. That's the one, Thaden Field. It's got the Louise restaurant. Highly recommend. This is a live look, once again, towards the storm, pushing right over Beaver Lake. Bentonville, big flashes of lightning there coming from our Jack Link SciCam. And then back to the radar. The cell is pretty much completely now in eastern Benton County, headed into western Carroll, northern Madison County. Almost looks as if there's kind of two pockets of lightning in this cell. We'll see if one part, sometimes when this happens, you're almost talking about a storm split. We'll see if it happens or if it just gets longer or fills in. Sometimes that can help drive a storm a little bit more southeast. If that comes in, that means Huntsville could be watching here in a second. We're already getting close. Probably see the lightning strikes in the distance. River Valley, what is going on? We've got nothing. We need rain. Nothing's happening. Well, we're watching this. See this? This is an outflow boundary from earlier when the storms were out closer to Tulsa and Miami and Bonita. That rain cooled air picking up some bugs, going over the Boston Mountains right now. This thing could try to spark a storm, but it would be very isolated. Kind of like what we see out to the west. See me, a couple cells trying to form, kind of struggling though too. A very stray storm is possible tonight in the River Valley, but the strongest ones were always going to be in northwest Arkansas because there's higher pressure in southern Arkansas. So the farther south you go, you're going to fight that high pressure. Farther north you go, you're doing a little bit better. We have better upper level support in Missouri anyways. And so that's why any storms that have been in Arkansas for the past few hours have been hugging the state line. That's why even Washington County, we didn't get that much. You know, we've had some cells in and around us. Johnson, Arkansas, in between Springdale and Fayetteville, got some downpours. Springdale got some downpours, but the heaviest has definitely been on the other side of the county line, Bethel Heights, Lowell, northbound. All right, so here's a wider look at this storm. Still look like it's strengthening right now. Even 1219 is the time I got. Strengthening cell, pushing east, nasty winds coming right towards Carroll County and northern Madison County. Lines getting a little bit sharper here on the south end. We've got more cells that are forming and then they feed into the storm, but pretty healthy here on the south side it looks like. And boy, it's just a lot of good heavy rain though. So if we take this off, I want to see if I can take the radar off for a second. Because sometimes it gets tricky. So I'll flash it back on and off. I'm looking for Beaver Lake. You see how you can see it on the map there? You can't see it, of course, when the radar's there. All right, so still good downpours over the Prairie Creek area, kind of with this last appendage that's sitting here, but that's not the severe part of the storm. It's just good rainfall just falling on the backside of this cell. The nasty stuff now is mainly over the eastern half of the lake. So you've got, it would be Rocky Branch, Lost Bridge to the north, and you head eastbound, getting closer to Eureka Springs, and Big Clifty is where this thing is coming in right now. Looking at some wind speeds off camera. Still clocking in close to 60. It got maybe some estimations of 62, 63. It's hard to say how much is reaching the ground, but you go a couple thousand feet up, these winds are cruising 60 to 70 miles per hour. Then some of them are able to duck down. They usually slow down just a little bit when they kind of do that, but we're still estimating close to 60 mile per hour winds across Beaver Lake, eastern end of Beaver Lake. But what you're looking at right now is the lightning. I'll put back the radar. There's a wide view again. So Rocky Branch, you head east to Starkey Marina. You got the dam, which is close to about here-ish. So anywhere around the dam site, you got the campground there, kind of juts out. You got the bluffs, Indian Creek, Lost Bridge, Starkey Marina, and the campground there, Ramble Ridge, and then you head on 187. You go past Holiday Island, and you head right towards Beaver and Eureka Springs eventually. There's Beaver, there's Eureka Springs. Wind coming at us right now. Bush, Arkansas, right there along Highway 62 as you kind of slant back to the southeast. So you got Bush here. Nasty winds for you. But it looks like maybe the worst wind. Let's see if I can change. Tulsa radar is actually picking up the best. I know this is kind of getting in the way. I'm going to temporarily move this. See a little bit better. Okay, I'll stand over here. So what you're looking at right now is velocity. Bright red, still almost white, are the winds that are close to 60, 65 miles per hour. So you're pushing across War Eagle at the east end of the Beaver Lake. So here's about the dam. You've got Starkey Marina out in here, eastern end of Beaver Lake, kind of where you got some of that really deep water. But Rocky Branch to Big Clifty, War Eagle Cavern, you got Hobbs State Park, about, well, it's kind of large, about all in this area, that wind pushing through. But it looks like now the wind's really coming into Eureka Springs, headed south towards West Liberty and Clifty. You've got Big Clifty on the lake, and then Clifty itself is about here. So Big Clifty's here. You got Clifty right in there. Cabinal, Green Forest, Berryville headed towards us. Forum and Alabama, we're watching it. Huntsville, we're going to be next. There's this real nasty pocket to the south, though. See that? So it's right in here. That's the edge of the next one. So this is coming right towards us in Huntsville, to be honest. Nasty wind coming now from towards Huntsville. You've got the Withrow Springs State Park, which is just north of town. Forum, up and down 23. Right there near Withrow Springs, we're getting in the big wind, or it's just about to come in the next minute. You go back to Hinesville, we're getting that wind. But extreme northern Madison County, it looks like we've kind of shifted where the worst wind is. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new warning, if it was more kind of drawn to the south. But you also have this pocket. So look, there's kind of two different pockets. You got one, Carroll County. This one is now pretty much mostly the leading edge is starting to get out of Beaver Lake. Still got wind over Beaver Lake. So Beaver Lake is about here. So it looks like these two wind pockets have now pretty much cleared the lake, the worst wind pockets. And so Holiday Isle towards you guys know where the Thorn Crown Chapel is? There north and west of Eureka Springs. Coming right at us. Okay, there's the new warning. See how it's been extended a little bit farther south now. And so it's these two pockets that we got to watch out for. That wind pocket headed towards Forum, Withrow Springs. And you got this pocket, western Benton County, coming right towards us along 62 towards Pleasant Valley. And then you come right into Eureka Springs. Berryville, we're watching you guys too. Or Pleasant Valley, then Berryville, and then Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs would be about here. Looking at some winds off screen too, trying to estimate best as possible. So you got, right over Eureka Springs, Pleasant Valley, Berryville, we're next, just chugging right along 62. But they're right over if you guys been on the zip lines, there's the Ozark Mountain zip line, and then you got Thorn Crown Chapel, and then Eureka Springs is coming right at us. So probably wondering why we're so zoomed in. Using the Tulsa radar, because of the angle of the radar, is actually better to dissect this storm, even though technically the Fort Smith radar is closer. Fort Smith radar is kind of looking at the storm at it's not the best view. You're hitting the storm at a 90-degree angle. We won't get into radar specifics, but using the Tulsa one, that's why we're zoomed out still. And it's a better view, so you can see you got two humps here, two noses, and two flanks of that wind on the leading edge of this storm. Wind in between too, don't get me wrong. We're still getting that wind south towards Quigley's Castle, and you got Turpentine, the creek, the Cat Wildlife Refuge that you're driving by near Big Clifty and Eureka Springs, wind coming at us, but the bigger pocket is more towards Withrow Springs, north of Huntsville, and you got another one coming right over Eureka Springs, and Pleasant Valley, we're next, and then you just continue on right into Berryville. You go past the Carroll County Airport there off Highway 62 and Snake World, which is right off of Highway 62 as well. A lot of cool attractions, but boy, we got some wind coming in. I'm gonna look. I'll switch it back to radar, just normal this. So you can even kind of see the two humps just with the rain. Look at that. You got two right here. You got one to the south. This one's a little bit larger. One to the north, a little bit smaller. When you're looking at lightning, looks like the southern one's going to be a little bit healthier, and that's coming right at us across Madison County. We've got Purdy, Huntsville, Withrow Springs is about here. Still some nasty winds over Eureka, Pleasant Valley, and the Berryville area. Now off camera, I'll show you while we're waiting, I'm going to show you. This is the Bentonville camera. I want to look up some power outages, so just give us a moment. I'm going to set this back over here. Okay. Sometimes it takes a while for some outages to come in. All right, looks like we have over 2,000 power outages in Benton County. They're just starting to come in for Carroll County, 42. Let's see. Hey, Dan, if you want to let the producers know that we're starting to get power outages, that may be something that they want to know. It'll be mainly Benton and Carroll counties. Carroll County will still watch. It looks like the wind is picking up for us in Carroll County, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting a few more here shortly. Carroll County is a little bit more rural, though, so we'll see how that trend goes. But this is a live look in Bentonville. Live look in Springdale. You're still watching that storm off in the distance. Some good lightning, even all the way from Springdale. Of course, it's going to get a little bit tougher to see as the storm pushes away from us. But you can see how nasty it is towards the lake. Very loud out there. Every once in a while, you can hear rumble thunder across the rest of Benton and Washington counties, too. Here's back to a view of the radar, storm pushing through. So you've seen the activation of that new severe thunderstorm warning. So it includes all of Carroll County and then northern Madison County. It does include us in Huntsville, as this charge of wind is coming right at us, pushing pretty heftily to the south and east right now. Let me see. This one is moving about 30 miles per hour. Almost looks like it's slowed down. Still producing gusty winds, but the storm itself has reduced the speed just a touch. So let me put that in to the calculator. And let's push this out across Huntsville. So Huntsville, any moment now. The rain's already picked up for us. The winds in Withrow Springs. But the gusty, gusty winds are Huntsville, any moment now. Purdy, 1247. Wharton, 1250. So we've got another at least 20 minutes that's still here in 5 Country with the gusty wind threat. And then we head in more into Newton County. You're looking towards Del Mar and Ponca. We're closer to the 1 o'clock hour as this storm pushes to the southeast. Looks like, boy, we got a lot of heavy rain over Clifty and Hinesville. Here's Forum, which is right close to Withrow Springs. You're getting it. Alabama, we're getting it too. Highway 412 continues eastbound. Marble, Arkansas, and Dry Fork, Arkansas, headed towards us too. You hop over into Carroll County, Cabinal, Rural, Connor, Gobbler, Dean, and Del Mar. Carrollton, we're headed to get some of this too. But it really looks like this storm, yeah, it's pretty good from Eureka Springs into Pleasant Valley and Berryville. But the main focus has now shifted south for northern Madison County, with up to, let's see the new list. We've got up to 70 mile per hour winds is what we could be estimating. So let me pull this back. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to type in some speed so you guys can see what I'm looking at too. So this would be, right there we got a 70 mile per hour wind gust we're estimating here. Got about 60 here. Got maybe a 65 about in here. Looking about a 55 in between. .72. And then it drops off on the extreme south end. Got about a 40. So these are the latest wind speeds. These are miles per hour. Once again, you hit 58 miles per hour, severe thunderstorm warning is activated. But we're estimating that we could have up to 70 mile per hour winds northern Madison County. You see where we're going next with these, right? We're moving east-southeast. Alabama, look what's coming your way. coming your way, Huntsville, especially in the north side of town. Withrow Springs is coming big time, right through Withrow Springs and Forum. Go north, still got 60-mile-per-hour winds north of Alabama there. Let's see what else we got. And then 55-mile-per-hour winds headed towards Middleton. Cabinal, we're about here. 65-mile-per-hour winds coming towards us, and then eventually they'll head towards Carrollton and Osage too. Purdy, Wharton, we're coming in too. We're not too far behind. Rain's already starting to pick up for us here in a moment if it hasn't started yet. But we're watching these 70-plus mile-per-hour wind potentials coming in right towards Purdy and Wharton. Alabama, Huntsville hitting first, and then spreading south and east to the rest of Madison County. Benton County, this warning will be deactivated here in a second. It's already been trimmed. It does not include Prairie Creek. It doesn't include Rogers anymore. It includes the very eastern end of Hobbs State Park, really more towards Big Clifty and the eastern end of the lake. So the dam, we're still included in the warning, but that should go away here at any time. It's really this section right here is where we're watching this cell. You kind of see the old warning right in here, and then the new warning is located here. Yoakum, Green Forest, we're going to get heavy rain. We're already getting that heavy rain. Looks like the wind's a little bit weaker for us, but still pretty gusty, headed towards Green Forest and Yoakum. Osage, Carrollton, watching some of that wind too. And a bigger gust right over northern Madison County. Let's do a wide view. Some of you guys may be tuning in. River Valley, what are we expecting? Most of the activity staying north. But as this outflow boundary comes through, a stray storm could try to pop up this evening, and we'll watch those. But bigger cells pushing across Madison and Carroll County right now. And then they'll head into Newton. But for the metros of northwest Arkansas, this thing is wrapping up for us. All right. I think I've got this on. Hey, Dan, are we able to keep this going just on digital platforms on PCR, but we'll go ahead and get off the Channel 5 airwaves? What do you think? All right, okay. So here in a bit what we're going to do is, because this storm the gusty wind threat is really pushing into the mountains here soon, we'll go ahead and hop off Channel 5, but we're still doing coverage though on our 5 Plus app, 5 News app, and on Facebook, on YouTube, all the normals that you can always get us on your mobile device. But this storm is exiting the metros. You live in Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville, we're looking pretty good. Fayetteville even included too. We didn't get a lot in Fayetteville. We've had some downpours dance around us. Most of it's been to the north, but now this storm is moving east and southeast. Now it's kind of at the same latitude as Fayetteville, but we weren't able to get any. Huntsville's definitely getting a lot worse than we are in Fayetteville. But Bentonville, we're wrapped up. I think we're good for tonight. But this storm still is pretty nasty. Still got to push it across Carroll and Madison counties. A lot of lightning too. Let's see. I'm going to look up the power outage again, see if there's any update there. About the same. We've got about 2,700 power outages across Benton County, over 30 in Carroll County. But that's definitely subject to change here soon. Carroll County, we're still getting it. In Madison County, we'd be next. I don't have anything in Madison County yet. But it usually takes a little bit where it's sitting over us right now. So if any kind of wind is pushing any kind of trees down or power lines down, it's doing it right now. And then we'll get those reports to you as soon as they're available. But I'll show you what it looks like outside again. Maybe too far now. I'm going to move this camera so we're looking more east, because we're right at Highway 412. There's a little bit of a pull right here. But you're looking at that storm as it's kind of making its right-hand turn just a little bit. When you get lightning on the south side of a storm, sometimes that kind of drives, it's an indicator that it's about to start driving south. But you're looking right along Highway 412 from the Holiday Inn, and you're looking towards, way out towards Huntsville and Hinesville, southeast end of Beaver Lake. So Madison County is about here, and then Carroll County starts about here and goes here. So you're looking even just visually a little bit more lightning on the Madison County side. Of course, we're now pretty far from the view. There's some strikes there though too. Don't count us out in Carroll County. But Madison County has a little bit more of the consistency on those strikes as that storm pushes through. But still, pretty large storm. Picked up its strength, hit those 60-mile-per-hour winds, sometimes even close to 70-mile-per-hour winds, and continue to chug along, east-southeast now. Let's head back to radar. It's going to resume more on northwest Arkansas because that's where we're getting the bulk, all of the storm coverage. Because we have the only storm. You head south from River Valley, we're not getting anything. There are some of these little cells that could give us a stray downpour in the River Valley, but the main activity is right here. Look how the storm has also gotten just larger. Look how much rain this thing is putting down. Getting larger, getting wider. It's a healthy storm. It's just chugging along. Huntsville, we're getting it. That wind threat coming right into us in Alabama and Melton, Marble, Purdy, Kingston, Wharton, we're getting it. Osage, we're not far behind. Melton's about here. You go south and east, eventually you get out of Melton and you head right into Rudd and into Osage, going right there along. Oh, it's 103, I think. 103 coming out towards Osage. But pretty nasty storm, a lot of lightning. This thing is loud. A lot of lightning strikes out there. A lot of wind too coming with this cell. Let's take a closer look at that wind, and then we'll peek at hail. Once again, the Tulsa one, it's probably the best to show you the orientation of it, but gosh, we're getting far. Let's see. Okay. So you're watching the leading edge right here where the greens meet the red, not in a rotation type of way. At least right now, we're still good. Just fine. There's the leading edge of the wind. We could be getting a little bit more of a microburst right here. See this? Very gusty when it's over Huntsville. Right here is where we have the leading edge of the wind. So if I go ahead and draw this out, so Purdy 1244 here in just about 2-3 minutes. Coming in at us, Gobbler 1246, Osage 1252. Just about under 10 minutes to go for us in Osage. And Carrollton 1259. And once you get into Newton County, 104 in Stoverville. But yeah, nasty storm. Nasty storm. I'm taking a look at hail now. Looks like we picked up a little bit of that hail right over Highway 412. You see that? It's just hard to say if it's how much is reaching the ground right now. Because we have so much rainfall and temperatures are still pretty warm, you melt hailstones pretty quickly. But this looks like an uptick in the hail. You're looking at hail right over Highway 412. Don't be surprised if you're getting some hail in Huntsville. So new update, hail forming and pushing southeast. You can see the hail pockets has been out there past couple minutes. There's Johnson Road where it meets Hinesville and Highway 412. Here's Huntsville. A little bit of hail coming in this. Hail pocket may come more towards Huntsville. We've had more of the wind on the north side so far. Still wind in Huntsville for sure, but the strongest winds I think more been towards Withrow Springs and Alabama. but this hail pocket coming right at us towards town in Huntsville. And Wharton, you could be next on this too. Yep. Let me switch this back to hail now. So the hail is completely out of Washington County. It looks like it kind of upticked there, right where east of Sonora, where you cross over the south end of Beaver Lake, if you still call it that, or really the White River. And you push south eventually all the way to Elkins. Good fishing on the White River. But there's a hail pocket as it comes into Hartwell now, Huntsville. If this thing can hold, it looks like it's already weakened on the latest scan. But you're talking about Huntsville coming in now, Wharton 103, Kingston 112 for this hail pocket for us. Back to my view with the radar, across Washington, Benton, Carroll, and Madison counties. Nasty storm tonight. Boy, are we getting some good rain. We need it though. I'm gonna take the warnings off. Let's see what kind of estimations we're getting. Inch and a half, maybe 2 inches per hour. Some really good rainfall. In fact, I'm going to switch this to, it's loading, there it goes. What we're looking at now is rainfall. Wish we could spread it all across 5 country, but at least a couple counties got it. Hopefully your house got it at home. The rainfall, let me switch this. Once you hit the yellow, you've gotten 3 inches. So it looks like we're all safe from that 3-inch mark. There could be a couple rain gauges that say 3 inches. Let us know what you guys get. I just do it in the morning. Get some sleep if I were you. But it looks like around Prairie Creek we picked up about an inch, close, ½ inch to an inch. Maybe a little bit more towards the Rocky Branch Marina area. Downtown Bentonville, just under an inch. Crystal Bridges, close to a ½ inch or so, maybe a little bit more. You're seeing it pop up too. I don't have to read all of them, but around Bella Vista, maybe ½ inch to an inch. Looks like most of Benton County just picked up a ½ inch, and there's a couple spots that are closer to the 1-inch mark. P Ridge, we may be included in that. Maybe an inch and a half there along New Hope Road, where you meet US 71. Cave Springs area, about a ½ inch or so. XNA, about a ½ inch or so. Gentry, Decatur, Gravette, ½ inch, maybe a little bit more. Then you head south into Washington County, just not nearly as much. Look how much is cut off. Extreme northeastern Washington County. You can see maybe about a ½ inch or so. A little bit more in Madison. All right, back to the wide view. Still a couple cells forming in Oklahoma. We'll watch this tonight with you. But their threat will be very isolated. It's mainly these storms in the north that are pushing on through, have the biggest wind potential. They're putting out the winds right now. Let's see. I'm going to switch this back to velocity. Looks like our wind is about right in here. What we'll do is we're going to cover this wind until it gets about, once it's leaving our area. We've still got another 10 minutes or so we've got to watch. Lightings, looks like it's kind of weakened. Let's go back. This is just a larger mass of red. See how it keeps getting larger and larger. larger. And on the south side, you got that south wind still, and that's producing more cells that feed into the bigger cell and just feed into its strength. So maybe a small downtrend in the lightning, which is good. Boy, this is just some nasty winds pushing across Carroll, Madison County. Benton County, no longer do we have the warning. It's been trimmed. Even extreme western Madison County and western Carroll County, we've also been trimmed too. You start to finally see Beaver Lake poking out behind the radar. So all of Beaver Lake is now out of the severe thunderstorm warning. It's been kind of wrapping up for us a while, past at least a handful of minutes. Eureka Springs, we're starting to clear out. Still some rain, but it's about to end. Berryville, still good downpours. Kavanaugh getting the good downpours. Huntsville, boy, we're in the thick of it. But there's Alabama, Marble, Dry Fork, right along Highway 412. There we got the wind, got the heavy rain. Gobbler, Dean, Arkansas, and Carroll County. Back west of Forum, still getting it. Look how many lightning strikes surrounding us in Dean right now. Gobbler, we're next to get the lightning strikes right over us, although you can probably already hear the thunder. In Dean, we're not too far away, just a couple stones throws away. Crow flies, maybe a couple miles. There's Osage, finally getting it now. Finally has arrived in Osage. Delmar, we're next. But that gusty wind is really, especially on the leading edge. So we're kind of starting to push that out of 5 country now. Got a couple more minutes, and then it's out. See if we can see anything outside with our views from Bentonville. We're getting far now. Look how wet we are. Oh, you still see some lightning. You can still get some lightning on the backside of a cell. And so you may see some of those flashes. The leading edge flashes, that might be tough because you got to look through that rain. You see some general flashes kind of like that. There's rainfall in between, so that's why it looks more muted. But sometimes on the backside of a cell, you can still get a couple lightning strikes to pop because this storm is very electrified. But once again, live look in Bentonville. Here's live look in Springdale. Still getting some of those muted lightning strikes out there, some glows. This storm is pretty far now from the metros. If you live in the metros, you can sleep just fine. Looking pretty good. But our rain is pretty much done. Looking way off in the distance there. And we've been watching these severe zones. No more severe thunderstorm watch is expected. If we get anything, it'll be very isolated tonight. Go back over to velocity. Looks like our wind is right here. Let me see if I can switch that. Yeah, Tulsa radar is not as helpful anymore. We're too kind of far out. Looking at power outages across. Still about the same. 2,700 in Benton County, 5 Madison County, Carroll County, 35. Let me see. I'm gonna so I can go off. I got my device right here. Let me see if any photos from you guys. Nope. Wouldn't be surprised if we wake up with a stray tree down every once in a while across Benton County. But there are those power outages in Benton County. It looks like the majority of them are Carroll Electric and Bentonville Light. Let me see where Carroll Electric. Where in their map they're getting them most. I'm gonna switch this. I'm looking at a browser right now, trying to find the location of some of these. I'm gonna put back the radar loop there, so you'll see it. Okay. Looks like the vast majority of the Carroll Electric There's a couple north of Prairie Creek. It looks like the Voca Brightwater area. Garfield, there's a couple. The best one, not the best, that's not the way to put it, but the most concentrated ones are actually near Elm Springs and Highful. We could have had a quick downburst or two earlier before the cell was even severe. Those can happen at any time, especially in hot weather storms like this. I know we're at midnight. Well, we're after midnight. It's 12:53. It's almost 1. You can get storms that quickly produce a microburst at any time, even ones that aren't severe. And that's one that comes down, really dense, cool air, hits the ground kind of like a bomb, goes out in all directions with some of that wind. We also have extreme northwestern Benton County, so Gravette, Sulphur Springs were included in that too. I'm going to type in Bentonville, power and light. Let's see. Trying to find the. No, they may not have an app. Anyways, trying to find a map, but it looks like we've got spotty parts of Benton County. 2,000 power outages, almost 3,000 power outages tonight. This storm is now exiting Carroll and Madison County. Still very heavy rain, but the wind is now really pushing into Newton County. So just a wide view, what we can expect tonight. Very straight downpour pops up, maybe in the River Valley. There could even be a rain. You see some of these, I mean, there could be, you could hear the rain for a second, try to pick up again in northwest Arkansas, but the severe threat should be done. Severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled. And just a straight downpour could take place anywhere across 5 country tonight. I know that's very vague, but outflow boundaries are pushing south. They're about here. And so as they push south, they could spark a quick downpour at any time. We'll watch them tonight, but for now, the storm is exiting. These warnings will be let go eventually or downstream added into parts of Newton County. And then also towards Harrison, we may get some too. But these storms are pushing deep into the mountains now. We're going to go ahead and wrap up coverage here. We'll keep on watching these storms. There you see a new issuing, just kind of trimming this storm. Most of the winds though on the leading edge, but this storm's pushing out. Living north of Madison County, got some rain, got some wind, but it is slowly pushing out. Carroll County, we're easing up in Eureka Springs and Pleasant Valley and Berryville, but out towards Cabinal and Carrollton, still pretty nasty for us, but the storm is exiting and pushing eastbound. We appreciate your guys' time. We got some thunderstorms out there. At least we got some rain. A few of us did. I still think overall the majority of 5 country did not. A few of us did. At least that's some good news. We've got more rain chances moving ahead. We got some on Friday. And then next week could actually turn pretty rainy for us. Big front coming on through. Maybe rounds of rain could be possible. Hopefully it's more rainfall, not so much severe weather, but we're still far out. We'll have give you more updates as we get closer. Especially this weekend, I think we'll have a pretty good idea what happens rainfall-wise into next week. All right, you guys take care, sleep well. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.